Beloved child, do not scroll past this. Stop right here just for a moment. I know exactly how exhausted you are. I see the profound heaviness in your eyes, not just from a lack of physical sleep, but from the invisible burdens you have been carrying entirely on your own for so long. Those deep wrinkles on your forehead, the constant tension in your shoulders, and the heavy sighs that escape your lips. Those are not merely the marks of aging or the passing of time. They are the physical maps of spiritual battles you have fought in absolute solitude. You thought no one saw your exhaustion. You thought the tears you swallowed back in the dark of the night had fallen into an empty, silent void, but I was there. I have counted every single tear. I have felt the depth of your loneliness, and I am sending you this message today for one crucially important reason. I am warning you about the next 24 hours. Listen to me carefully, with the deepest, most quiet part of your soul. This warning is not thunder meant to strike fear into your heart, nor is it meant to cause you anxiety. Rather, it is the guiding light of a lighthouse, meant to keep you safe from the hidden traps of darkness. Over the next 24 hours, a massive shift is going to take place in the spiritual realm surrounding your life. The enemy of your soul knows exactly where you currently stand. You are standing right on the absolute edge of a monumental breakthrough. They know that the prayer you have been quietly whispering through your long years of waiting is at the very moment of being answered. Because of this, they are going to launch their final, most desperate, and most subtle attempts to discourage you. They will try to breathe whispers of doubt into your weary mind, trying to make you believe that your waiting has been completely meaningless, that I have abandoned you, and that this silent pain is your final destiny. But I say to you, do not fall for the trap. The enemy wants you to let go right when the miracle is only a single breath away. They want you to focus on the physical symptoms of your body, on the cold silence of your current circumstances, and on the indifference of the people around you, so that you will assassinate your own hope. But my child, I do not operate the way this world does. A seed is most powerfully breaking open when it is buried under the darkest, coldest soil. The next 24 hours are the hour of your final test of faith. I am warning you so that you can prepare your heart, not with sudden panic, but with an extraordinary, quiet peace. Take a deep breath, relax those tense shoulders, and hand the control back to me. Stand firm, and do not let fear dictate your steps. The battle in these next 24 hours does not belong to you. It belongs to me. Beloved, I need you to understand exactly why the pressure has felt so incredibly immense lately. You have been sitting in the quiet corners of your home, looking back at your life, and asking yourself what you did wrong. You have looked at the closed doors, the relationships that unexpectedly shattered, and the prayers that seemed to hit a brass ceiling and fall back down to the floor. You have poured your purest love into people who simply walked away without a second glance. You have felt the deep, sharp sting of betrayal from those you trusted the most, the aching in your chest, the heavy physical exhaustion that makes your bones feel like lead, and the restless nights where sleep constantly escapes you. It is the heavy residue of carrying burdens I never asked you to carry alone. You have silently wondered if you have missed your chance, if your best days are entirely behind you, and if this lingering sadness is simply the way your story ends. But listen to my voice right now. You are not a failure, and your story is far from over. I am issuing this 24-hour warning because I want to open your spiritual eyes to a profound truth. The darkness does not attack what is empty. Thieves do not break into a vacant house. The intense, almost unbearable opposition you have been feeling recently is not a sign that I have left you. Rather, it is the ultimate proof of the profound value of what I have placed inside of you. The enemy is desperately fighting you because he has seen the blueprint of your future. He sees the generational curses you are about to break. He sees the healing light that is going to flow through your hands to your children and your grandchildren. He is attacking your mind, your health, and your peace today because he is absolutely terrified of who you will become tomorrow when you finally realize your true authority in me. I am not angry with your weariness. I do not demand that you gather up a fake, manufactured strength to impress me. I see your fragile heart, and I hold it with the utmost tenderness. In fact, your current weakness is the exact place where my divine strength is about to be perfected. Over the next 24 hours, when the familiar whisper of failure comes knocking at the door of your mind, I want you to answer it with absolute silence. You do not need to argue with the enemy. You do not need to defend yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your only assignment in this critical window of time is to rest in the shadow of my wings. Let my unshakable peace become your shield. Let my presence become your fortress. The storm may rage outside, but the foundation I am building within you cannot be uprooted. Beloved child, as these next 24 hours begin to unfold, you are going to notice a distinct shift deep within your spirit. For years you have been walking through life wearing a heavy, rain-soaked winter coat made of guilt, regret, and the painful memories of what used to be. You have held on to relationships that constantly drained your soul, simply because you were terrified of being alone in the silence. You have replayed your past mistakes on an endless loop, convincing yourself that your current suffering is just the ultimate consequence of your imperfect choices. You look at your age, you look at the calendar, and you quietly believe that your time has slipped away, that the best, most vibrant chapters of your life have already been written and firmly closed. Hear me today. I am the creator of time, and I am not bound by the limitations of a human calendar. The warning I give you for these next 24 hours is also a profound warning of detachment. In the coming hours, I am going to initiate a divine pruning in your life. I am going to quietly remove certain mindsets, certain heavy burdens, and perhaps even certain people from your path. Do not mourn the doors that I am currently shutting. Do not reach back to grab hold of the very things I am intentionally pulling out of your hands. The enemy will try to make this holy pruning process feel like a devastating loss. When the sudden silence comes, the darkness will whisper that you are being rejected, ignored, and abandoned all over again. But I am telling you the absolute truth. I am not taking things away to punish you. I am actively clearing the heavy toxic debris from your life to make room for your harvest. You cannot carry the beautiful, overflowing blessings of tomorrow while your hands are still tightly gripping the ashes of yesterday. Imagine a beautiful garden in the dead of winter. To the natural eye, the branches look bare, lifeless, and completely forgotten by the sun. But beneath the cold, hard soil, life is fiercely preparing to break through. You are in that winter garden right now. The things falling away from you are simply the dead leaves that can no longer survive the glorious season you're about to step into. Over the next 24 hours, when you feel the sudden urge to panic over what seems to be ending, I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and surrender it entirely to me. Let go of the heavy coat. Release the need to figure everything out. Allow me to clear the stage of your life, because the masterpiece I am about to display will require absolute purity and unshakable faith. Beloved child, let us speak about the quiet hours of the night. I know intimately well that when the sun goes down and the house becomes entirely silent, the noise inside your mind only seems to grow louder. You lie awake in the dark, feeling the familiar aches in your joints, the heaviness in your breathing, and the sudden flutter of anxiety in your chest. The enemy uses the midnight hour to project massive shadows of fear onto the walls of your mind. He whispers the cruelest lies when you are most physically vulnerable. He tells you that your physical strength is permanently fading, that you will eventually become a heavy burden to the children and the family you love so dearly, and that your remaining years will be spent in quiet, helpless isolation. He wants you to look at your aging body and genuinely believe that your spiritual authority is shrinking right alongside your physical energy. But hear the absolute, unshakable truth from your Creator. Your physical vessel may feel the immense weight of the passing years, but your spirit is being daily renewed, fortified, and sharpened with a divine power you have not yet fully comprehended. The ache in your body is not a countdown to your obsolescence. It is a physical reminder that this earthly realm is temporary. Yet while you are still breathing, I have monumental, world-shaking work for you to accomplish. In these next 24 hours, the enemy is going to try to amplify your physical and emotional discomfort, specifically to distract you from the spiritual promotion that is taking place. He wants you to focus so heavily on the pain in your knees, the exhaustion in your back, or the worries about your medical reports that you completely miss the crown of wisdom and authority I am currently placing upon your head. I am warning you right now so that you can aggressively shift your perspective tonight. When the midnight anxiety tries to suffocate your peace, I want you to recognize it for what it truly is, a desperate, failing tactic from a completely defeated foe. He is attacking your physical rest because he knows that a rested, peaceful soul is an incredibly dangerous weapon in my kingdom. Do not fight these late-night shadows by frantically trying to figure out tomorrow's problems. You cannot solve the perceived crises of your future with tonight's exhausted, overwhelmed mind. Instead, your only job is to simply speak my name into the quiet darkness. Just whisper it. Let the warm, comforting peace of my presence wash over your weary bones. I am actively turning the very isolation that the enemy intended for your destruction into a holy sanctuary where I speak the absolute clearest to you. Stand still, because in the next 24 hours, the fear of the future is going to be utterly shattered by the revelation of my eternal provision for you. Beloved child, when the morning light finally breaks through your window tomorrow, you are going to wake up into an entirely different spiritual atmosphere. The 24-hour warning I have issued to you culminates in the very moment you open your eyes. The enemy's ultimate goal is to hijack your first waking thought. He desperately wants you to start your day by immediately scanning your body for the familiar pain, scanning your mind for financial worries, and scanning your memory for yesterday's heavy regrets. He wants your very first spoken words to be a complaint of defeat, a sigh of exhaustion, or a declaration of hopelessness. He knows that if he can capture your morning, he can dictate the rhythm and the mood of your entire day. But I am instructing you to do something radically different. Before your feet even touch the floor, before you reach for your phone, and before you let a single anxious thought cross your lips, I want you to open your mouth and declare my goodness, even if your voice shakes, even if your joints still ache. Your voice, my child, is an unparalleled spiritual weapon against the kingdom of darkness. You have spent so much time quietly believing that because you are older, perhaps retired, or physically slower than you used to be, your influence in this world has drastically diminished. You look at your quiet, everyday life and falsely assume your impact is completely over. Let me reveal a magnificent secret to you. In the realm of the spirit, your authority has never been heavier, sharper, or more potent than it is right now. Think about your family. Think about your children and your grandchildren. Think about the ones who have wandered away, the ones making choices that break your heart in secret, and the ones who seem entirely lost to the chaos of this modern world. The enemy wants you feeling depressed, useless, and completely silent so that you stop praying for them. He attacks your physical health specifically to distract you, shut your mouth, and extinguish your powerful intercession. Over these next 24 hours, I am entirely shattering that illusion of uselessness. I am reigniting a fierce, holy fire inside your spirit. You are not a forgotten relic of the past, nor are you a burden. You are the vital spiritual gatekeeper of your entire bloodline. When you speak my name from the quietness of your living room, chains fall off your loved ones miles away. When you declare victory over your home, generational curses that have plagued your family for decades are permanently broken. Do not let the devil silence the most powerful, battle-tested warrior in the house. Rise up tomorrow morning, not relying on the fading energy of your physical youth, but stepping into the majestic, unshakable wisdom of a seasoned conqueror. The battle of these 24 hours is ending, and the victory is already yours. Beloved child, let us speak about the heavy burden of time and the illusion that it has somehow run out. I know the quiet grief that washes over you when you look back at the calendar. You see the years that feel as though they have slipped through your fingers like dry sand. You look at the opportunities you believe you missed, the dreams that seem to have permanently expired, and the long seasons that were completely swallowed up by hardship, sickness, or the mistakes of others. The enemy loves to sit beside you in these quiet moments of reflection and whisper the cruelest, most paralyzing lie of all. It is simply too late for you. He wants you to believe that the train has already left the station, that your best and brightest chapters are permanently closed, and that the rest of your earthly life is merely a slow, quiet fading into the background. But hear the absolute, unshakable authority of your Creator today. I am the Lord of time, and I am not restricted by the ticking clock of this earthly realm. I do not measure your potential by your physical age, your energy levels, or the number of days behind you. My warning for these next 24 hours is a strict warning against the spirit of regret. The enemy is going to intentionally try to trap you in the graveyard of your past, forcing you to mourn the years you feel were wasted. He wants you to be so focused on looking backward in sorrow that you completely miss the miraculous golden door I am swinging wide open right in front of you. Listen to my sacred promise to you. I am about to restore the years that the locusts have eaten, the seasons of your life that felt entirely barren, the years you spent waiting, weeping, and wondering if I had completely forgotten you. They were never wasted. They were an intense, holy preparation. I was using that very pain and silence to build a depth of character, a profound empathy, and an unbreakable faith inside you that cannot be manufactured in seasons of comfort. In my kingdom, there is a divine phenomenon called acceleration. What takes the world 10 years to accomplish by their own exhausting strength, I can beautifully manifest in your life in a single breathtaking moment of my favor. Do not ever let the devil convince you that your story is finished just because the cover of your book looks a little worn. Some of the most majestic, earth-shaking moves of my spirit happen in the evening hours of life. Over the next 24 hours, when the sudden panic of running out of time tries to grip your chest, I want you to smile boldly in the face of the darkness. I want you to open your mouth and declare, "My times are in His hands." You are not fading away. You are stepping into a season of extraordinary, unprecedented restoration. Your latter days will be far greater than your former days, and the world is about to witness exactly what I can do with a heart that fully trusts in my perfect timing. Beloved child, let us speak about the heavy, crushing silence that has surrounded you lately. I know that there have been days, and long agonizing nights where you cried out for a single sign, for a booming voice, or for an immediate rescue, and all you heard in return was the deafening sound of your own heartbeat. You have walked through this spiritual wilderness feeling entirely abandoned, wondering if your passionate prayers were simply evaporating into the cold, empty air. The enemy loves to use my silence as his absolute loudest weapon against you. In these next 24 hours, he will aggressively try to convince you that my quietness means I am angry with you, that I have permanently turned my back on you, or worse, that I simply do not care about your daily suffering anymore. But listen to the gentle, unshakable truth of your Heavenly Father. My silence is never my absence. My silence is my intense, focused concentration. When a master architect is laying the foundation for a magnificent, enduring structure, the most critical work happens deep underground, entirely out of sight, and often in absolute quiet. I have been doing profound foundational work within the deepest layers of your soul. If I had spoken loudly and instantly changed your circumstances prematurely, your spiritual character would not have been strong enough to sustain the massive, unprecedented blessing I am about to place upon you. I had to quiet the chaotic outward noise so that you could finally learn to recognize my subtle, gentle whisper. I had to intentionally strip away the distractions so that your faith would not be built on fleeting emotions, temporary successes, or the fickle applause of people, but solely on the unbreakable bedrock of my eternal word. Do not ever misinterpret this spiritual wilderness as a barren wasteland. It is a divine, highly calculated training ground. And in this very moment, even as you receive these words, the long season of silence is rapidly breaking. I am warning you to closely tune your spiritual ears over these next 24 hours. You will not hear my voice in the chaos, the panic, or the frantic pacing of your worried mind. You will hear me in the sudden, inexplicable peace that washes over your chest while you are going about your ordinary day. You will hear my divine confirmation in a sudden thought that brings you instant clarity, or in a deep, knowing calm that settles your anxious spirit. I am speaking to you continuously, guiding your every single footstep. Do not let the devil tell you that you are wandering aimlessly in the dark. You are not lost, my child. You are being strategically positioned. The season of agonizing silence has officially served its holy purpose, and the glorious, undeniable sound of your breakthrough is already echoing in the heavenly realms. Hold your ground, for I am about to speak a word over your life that will permanently change your history. Beloved child, let us address the profound, heavy ache of loneliness that so often settles deep in your chest. I see you walking through the quiet rooms of your home, feeling an emptiness that words can barely describe. You look around and see how rapidly the world has changed, how fast everyone else seems to be moving, and you quietly wonder if you have simply been left behind. The enemy absolutely loves to isolate you. In these next 24 hours, his strategy is to try and convince you that nobody truly understands you, that nobody genuinely cares about your private struggles, and that you are fighting this exhausting, uphill battle completely on your own. He wants you to look at your quiet surroundings and falsely believe that because your house is silent, your life is insignificant. But I am stepping in to pull back the veil of the physical world right now. Hear my voice and let it permanently shatter the spirit of isolation. You have never, not for a single fraction of a second, been fighting alone. If I were to open your spiritual eyes in this very moment, you would not see an empty room. You would see a fierce, majestic army of heavenly hosts standing guard at your door, surrounding your loved ones, and fiercely protecting your mind. You would clearly see that the very atmosphere around you is incredibly thick with my divine presence. The isolation you have been suffering through is an absolute illusion. I intentionally allowed you to be temporarily separated from the noisy, distracting crowds of the world so that you could be deeply, intimately connected to my heartbeat. The world foolishly equates a person's value with their visibility, but my kingdom operates on an entirely different standard. Your quiet, completely unseen faithfulness, the way you still faithfully pray for the people who hurt you, the way you still choose to be kind when your body is aching, and the way you still hold on to your faith when your heart is completely broken, has captured the full, undivided attention of heaven. Over the next 24 hours, I am serving notice to the enemy that his suffocating grip of isolation over your mind is permanently broken. I am sending a sudden, undeniable, and overwhelming warmth into your spirit today. You are going to physically feel the comforting weight of my presence, wrapping around your weary shoulders like a heavy protective blanket. Do not weep for the people who walked away or the crowds that faded. Rejoice, because the Creator of the universe has chosen to sit with you in your quiet room, and I am actively preparing to publicly reward the profound, beautiful faith that you have so faithfully shown in secret. Beloved child, as we move deeper into these critical 24 hours, I must warn you about a very specific, highly deceptive trap the enemy has laid out for your mind, the trap of comparison. I see the quiet moments when you look at the lives of others, and a sudden suffocating spirit of heaviness settles heavily over your chest. You look at your peers who seem to be enjoying their golden years in perfect physical health and complete financial security. You look at families that appear flawlessly united and perfectly happy. And then you look at your own fractured relationships, your own intimidating medical reports, and your own quiet, empty house. The enemy absolutely loves to point his accusing finger at the painful gap between where you currently are and where you thought you would be by this age. He whispers his toxic lies, telling you that if I truly loved you, your life would look as easy, comfortable, and picture-perfect as theirs. He wants you to feel a deep, paralyzing sense of inadequacy, trying to convince you that you have fundamentally failed at life, or that your faithful prayers were somehow not good enough. But listen to my voice of absolute, unshakable authority today. Do not ever measure your profound spiritual worth by the world's fragile, superficial standard of success. I did not give you their assignment, and I certainly did not give them yours. The people you are quietly comparing yourself to have not survived the massive, devastating storms you have weathered. They have not carried the heavy, crushing burdens you have carried in absolute silence. Your journey was never meant to be a shallow, easy stroll. It was meticulously designed to be a profound, earth-shaking testimony of resilience, survival, and unyielding faith. The cracks in your story, the scars on your heart, and the tears you have cried are the exact places where my glorious light is going to shine the absolute brightest. You cannot compare your behind-the-scenes struggles with everyone else's carefully curated highlight reel. Over the next 24 hours, when the devil tries to drag your weary mind into this toxic, exhausting cycle of comparison, I command you to immediately avert your spiritual eyes. Do not look to the left or to the right. Do not let the spirit of heaviness steal your precious peace by forcing you to stare at what you think you lack. The enemy knows that a thankful heart is an impenetrable fortress. When that dark, heavy cloud tries to descend upon your mind tonight, I want you to open your mouth and begin to thank me for the unseen miracles. Thank me for the invisible grace that woke you up today, and for the miraculous strength that kept you standing through your darkest decades. The spirit of heaviness absolutely cannot survive in an atmosphere of praise. I am lifting that suffocating cloud off your mind right now. You are not behind, you are not inadequate, and your life is not a mistake. You are walking a highly specialized, divinely orchestrated path, and your unique story is about to reveal my glory in a way no one else's ever could. Beloved child, as we continue to walk together through these critical 24 hours, I must speak directly to the quiet, gripping fear of scarcity that so often tightens your chest. I see the moments when you sit at your kitchen table, looking at the bills, looking at the rising costs of this rapidly changing world, and looking at the limitations of your own resources. I know the intense vulnerability you feel when you realize your physical energy is no longer what it used to be, and your ability to simply go out and produce more is fading. The enemy aggressively weaponizes this vulnerability. He uses the fear of lack to terrorize your peace. He whispers cruel, terrifying scenarios into your mind, telling you that you are going to run out of money, run out of options, run out of help, and ultimately be left destitute and completely dependent on a world that does not seem to care. But hear the sovereign, unshakable voice of your provider today. I do not operate within the fragile, collapsing economies of this earthly realm. The math of heaven is entirely different from the mathematics of men. I want you to look back over the long, winding decades of your life. Have you not survived every single financial crisis? Have you not made it through every season where it looked like there was absolutely no way to make ends meet? I was the invisible hand that multiplied your little. I was the unexpected check in the mail, the sudden favor from a stranger, and the food on your table when the cupboards should have been bare. I did not faithfully carry you through decades of impossible storms just to abandon you in your golden years. Over the next 24 hours, the enemy is going to attempt to send a sudden, sharp wave of panic regarding your future provisions or your physical security. He wants you to scramble, to worry, and to try and manipulate circumstances out of pure fear. When that familiar cold panic tries to settle in your stomach tonight, I am warning you to immediately reject it. Do not open the door to the spirit of poverty and fear. I want you to firmly declare, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Your survival has never been dependent on the government, the stock market, or even your own physical strength. Your survival has always been supernaturally sustained by my grace. I am currently commanding provision to find you from directions you have not even considered. I am touching the hearts of people to bless you, and I am stretching your resources far beyond their natural limits. You will not lack. You will not be put to shame. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and release your tight grip on the future. The very same God who fed the multitudes with a few loaves of bread is personally watching over your house today. Rest securely, because your tomorrow is already fully funded by my heavenly treasury. Beloved child, as we move deeper into the revelation of these next 24 hours, I must gently reach out and touch the absolute heaviest burden you carry in your soul. It is not your health, and it is not your finances. It is the agonizing, silent weight you carry for your children, your grandchildren, and your bloodline. I see the tears that soak your pillow when you think about the ones who have wandered far away from the truth. I see the absolute terror that grips your chest when you watch them make destructive choices, walking down paths that you know will only lead to heartbreak. And I hear the vicious, relentless voice of the enemy, sitting beside you in the dark, pointing an accusing finger and whispering that it is all your fault. He tells you that if you had only been a stronger parent, if you had prayed harder, or if you had not made your own mistakes in the past, your family would not be fractured today. Hear the sovereign, unshakable truth of heaven right now. I absolutely reject the enemy's condemnation over your life, and I command you to reject it too. You are carrying a weight of false guilt that I never assigned to you. The devil attacks your mind with the struggles of your family because he knows that your fierce, protective love for them is your greatest vulnerability. Over the next 24 hours, he is going to attempt to send a sudden wave of panic regarding their future. He wants you to frantically try to fix them, to argue with them, or to completely drown in despair over their decisions. He wants you so crippled by parental guilt that you stop fighting in the spirit. But I am issuing a divine restraining order against the kingdom of darkness concerning your family. Listen to my sacred promise. Your agonizing prayers for your loved ones have not simply evaporated into thin air. Every single tear you have cried for your prodigals has been collected in my hands. While you see them pulling away, I am already actively pursuing them. I know exactly how to reach the darkest, most stubborn corners of their hearts. The seeds of faith that you faithfully planted in them years ago are not dead. They are simply dormant, and I am about to send a massive, undeniable storm of my grace to water those seeds. Your assignment for these next 24 hours is a radical act of surrender. I want you to take your children, your grandchildren, and every fractured relationship in your family, and I want you to intentionally release them from your anxious, exhausted grip. Place them completely into my sovereign hands. You cannot save them with your worry, but my Holy Spirit can rescue them through your surrendered trust. I am breaking the generational curses that have haunted your bloodline for decades. I am breaking the cycles of addiction, poverty, and divorce. The spiritual legacy you leave behind will not be a story of ruin, but a magnificent, undeniable testimony of divine rescue. Rest your mind tonight, beloved parent. The fierce, relentless hound of heaven is on the track of your loved ones, and I will not lose a single one of those you have entrusted to me. Beloved child, let us speak about the quiet, pervasive lie that tells you your wisdom is no longer needed in this modern, fast-paced world. I see the moments when you watch the daily news, or when you look at the younger generations, and you feel a sudden, overwhelming sense of disconnect. You feel as though the world has spun so rapidly off its axis that your seasoned voice, your traditional values, and your quiet, steadfast faith are entirely obsolete. The enemy absolutely revels in this specific insecurity. In these next 24 hours, he will actively attempt to push you into a dark corner of spiritual retirement. He will whisper that you should just stay quiet, mind your own business, and simply ride out the rest of your days in the background, because nobody wants to hear what you have to say anymore. Hear the roaring, unshakable truth of heaven. There is absolutely no such thing as spiritual retirement in my kingdom. The enemy is terrified of your voice because you possess something that no young person, no matter how brilliant or energetic, can possibly have: a decades-long track record of surviving the impossible. You have a profound, undeniable, and battle-tested testimony. You have lived through the very storms that the world is currently terrified of facing. You have seen economies crash and rebuild. You have seen impossible grief softened and healed by my comforting hand over the passing decades. Your survival is not just a personal victory. It is a vital, living, breathing medicine for a broken, panic-stricken generation. The warning I am giving you today is a strict, holy warning against hiding your scars. The devil wants you to be ashamed of the things you have suffered, to hide your past mistakes, and to keep your struggles a secret. But I am telling you that your healed scars are the absolute greatest spiritual credentials you hold. When you speak to a younger soul who is drowning in anxiety, and you can look them in the eye and say, "I have been in that exact darkness, and my God faithfully brought me through it." Your words carry a heavy, chain-breaking authority that shatters their fear instantly. Over the next 24 hours, I'm going to intentionally place someone across your path, or drop a specific name into your spirit who desperately needs your seasoned wisdom. Do not hold back. Do not let the illusion of obsolescence seal your lips. You are the spiritual elders, the gatekeepers of your community. You are the heavy anchors, holding fast in an incredibly chaotic culture. I did not preserve your life this long just so you could quietly fade away into the shadows. I preserved you so that you could stand as a majestic, towering lighthouse on a dark shoreline, guiding the lost, the anxious, and the broken safely back to my arms. Rise up in your majestic authority today, because your spoken testimony is the exact rescue line someone else is desperately praying for right now. Beloved child, as we approach the final hours of this critical 24-hour window, I need you to look at the spiritual ground beneath your feet. You are no longer standing in the desolate valley of your past. You are standing directly on the threshold of an entirely new spiritual era. I see the subtle hesitation in your spirit. I know that even though you desperately want your circumstances to change, there is a quiet, hidden fear of the unknown that makes you want to subconsciously cling to what is familiar, even if the familiar is incredibly painful. The enemy will use these final hours to make this new season look deeply intimidating. He will whisper that you do not have the energy to start a new chapter, that you do not know how to navigate this unfamiliar territory, and that it is much safer to just stay quietly in your boat, where at least you understand the shape of the storm. But I am fiercely calling you to step out onto the water. The warning I give you right now is a strict, holy command to completely relinquish your exhausting need for control. You have spent decades trying to figure everything out. You have utterly exhausted your beautiful mind, trying to connect the dots, trying to predict the unpredictable future, and trying to physically manage outcomes that were never yours to manage in the first place. This deeply ingrained habit of anxious overthinking is the exact leak that is draining your physical vitality and your spiritual peace. In these next 24 hours, I am asking you to do something that goes against every natural survival instinct you have built up over your lifetime. I am asking you to completely surrender the how. You do not need to know exactly how the financial provision is going to arrive. You do not need to know the exact date and hour your prodigal child is finally coming home. You do not need to understand the complex medical mechanics of how I'm going to sustain your health. The enemy uses your obsession with the how as a sophisticated trap to keep you locked in a constant, paralyzing state of anxiety. When your weary mind tries to frantically race into tomorrow, I want you to forcefully pull it back to the present moment and declare out loud, "My Father is already there. Listen to me. I am already standing in your tomorrow, meticulously orchestrating every single detail. I have already spoken to the right people on your behalf. I have already positioned the necessary resources, and I have already smoothed out the rough, winding paths ahead. Your only assignment as you cross this monumental threshold is profound, unshakable trust. Let the heavy, crushing burden of being the manager of your own life permanently fall to the ground. You are not the manager. You are the deeply beloved, fiercely protected child. Take my unseen hand, take a deep, cleansing breath, and step confidently through the door I'm swinging open for you. What is waiting on the other side of this 24-hour battle is far more glorious than anything you are leaving behind. Beloved child, we have finally reached the end of this profound 24-hour warning, but I want you to know with absolute certainty that we have only just arrived at the glorious beginning of your new life. The heavy, suffocating spiritual warfare that you have endured over these last few months, and especially over these recent days, is officially coming to a permanent end. I have spoken my sovereign word over your circumstances, and there is absolutely no demon in hell, no earthly economy, and no human mistake that can reverse what I am setting into motion today. The midnight hour has passed. The long, agonizing winter of your soul is melting away, and the brilliant, undeniable light of my unprecedented favor is breaking over your horizon. I want you to mark this exact moment in time. Look at where you are sitting, take a deep breath, and remember this very day, because the next 24 hours are going to serve as the divine dividing line between your history of painful survival and your future of overflowing abundance. The tears you have cried in secret are being permanently wiped away. The years that you thought were completely wasted are being miraculously restored. I am removing the heavy, restrictive garments of mourning from your weary shoulders, and I am personally dressing you in the majestic, radiant garments of praise. You are no longer a victim of your past. You are the victorious, fiercely protected architect of a generational legacy. But my child, a word of this massive magnitude requires a physical, tangible act of faith to permanently seal it into your reality. Do not just listen to this message and simply walk back out into the exhausting noise of the world. I want you to actively step into agreement with heaven right now. If this message has touched the deepest, most hidden parts of your soul, I want you to declare your faith. Subscribe to this channel, not merely as a passive viewer on a screen, but as a warrior, intentionally anchoring your daily life in my truth. Share this message with someone you know who is secretly drowning in their own darkness. Let your simple act of sharing become a literal, spiritual lifeline that pulls another weary soul out of the pit. When you type Amen in the comments below, do not just type letters. Let it be a powerful, spiritual signature that signifies you are fully accepting the massive breakthrough I am handing to you today. Now go forward in absolute, unshakable peace. Walk through the remainder of this day with your head held incredibly high. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, you will not toss and turn in fearful anxiety. You will sleep with a deep, profound, and healing rest that surpasses all human understanding. The enemy has been utterly defeated. The trap has been completely broken, and you have escaped. I am your God, your Father, your provider, and your ultimate deliverer. The 24-hour warning is complete, and your spectacular, undeniable victory has officially begun.